talk about Charlamagne the God, because you know this ain't gonna be too quick. I mean, too long. I don't know. Pause. No Diddy. I already know. Hey, bro, this video starting out of way. But anyways, Charlamagne claims that J. Cole killed the big three. So let's see his perspective on it. Of course, we all know the situation happened. You know, first person shooter to like that, to the whole Drake and Kendrick back and forth, and a lot of people were not happy. I was one of them when J. Cole dropped 7 Minute Drill talking his ish. Then he pulled it back like, I don't need to be in this beef shit. People was amping me up. I put that out and stuff like that. And even though I still do like Cole and I'm here for the fall off, I'm here to listen for it. I'm not mad at the album coming out and I'm actually excited for it. I do see there being some hard feelings towards that. Don't even get me started on Port Antonio, because I felt like he apologized to Kendrick, but then he was getting so much slack he had to drop Port Antonio, and then had to tell Drake, "Oh, you always been my dude. You did a lot of shit for me, this and that, bro." Like, you know what I'm saying? Not to necessarily save face, but it was kind of like we was killing. We was like, bro, how you jump out and then jump back in the car? You can't jump out ready to fire and then jump back in the car. Like your gun ain't jam, nothing ain't jam, my nigga. You just went over there, shot in the air and sat back down. Like you wasn't really on no shit. So that's how we was looking at him. Now again, J. Cole, I look at this nigga as like a fucking rich homeless man. This nigga looks like a hippie just riding his bike everywhere. So again, I'm like, J. Cole ain't really a nigga that's for the beef. You know what I'm saying? We see it with academics as well. He critiques him a lot, which I do got to get to the point where academics was like, hey, listen, because academics tries to take him out the big three like Charlamagne, and I'm like, listen, that nigga was in the big three. Yes, that shit happened. We wasn't happy about it, but just fan base, rap ability, and just albums, you got to give it to that nigga, bro. If we're looking at him as a whole, yes, we didn't like that shit, but we gotta give it to that nigga. And then the thing with Ak is he always says like this nigga's music puts niggas to sleep, like this and that. So I'm like, okay, you took it from a regular like opinion to you kind of sound like you hating. So let's see how Charlamagne talks about it. So according to Charlamagne, J. Cole's decision to bow out of the battle with Kendrick Lamar marked the end of the big three, which is, again, fair. I'm not even mad at that. But see, we gotta stop looking at this because academics also says like this is a contact sport. I'm like, no, it ain't. Like, yes, niggas want to be the big three. Niggas are competitive, but I'm not like, fine. Again, depending when you got into hip hop, if you was around for the Biggie and Pac era till now, bro, clearly there's some differences. And if that's the case, and no shade to Drake, like some of his songs niggas have wrote, like, so, like, we could have these conversations of the qualities of what makes you this and that, like, you know what I'm saying? But at a time, they was the big three. Nowadays, it is what it is, but I'm pretty sure their generational run is done. We can have a new, younger generation be the big three now. But anyways, the big three in hip hop has the big three in hip hop has been a hot topic of debate in recent years, but according to Charlamagne the God, it no longer exists. During a recent episode of The Breakfast Club, the personality blames J. Cole for this, arguing that his decision to bow out of the battle with Kendrick Lamar sealed his fate. Again, I'm probably not going to find the clip. You already know how YouTube is, and this is like a longer discussion, so I'm mostly going to talk in this one. I ain't going to lie. There is no big three no more, he began, as seen in the clip on X/Twitter. Because when the big three was supposed to engage, only two of them decided to engage. J. Cole engaged, and then he backed away. So it was two. And after the two, one reigned supreme. And we know that was Mr. Kendrick Lamar. DJ Envy proceeded to weigh in, revealing that he has a similar take. According to him, J. Cole should have been prepared to take on the battle no matter what. He says the rapper's talents can't be overlooked. Like I'm saying, he thinks walking away from the challenge left a stain on his career, and that is fair. Now with X telling this nigga, your nigga is NyQuil and this and that, that's where I sound like this nigga's hating a bit, but it's just me. Like you said, J. Cole bowed out of that battle, right? You're an MC, you're supposed to be ready for any type of smoke. And this is the one thing I will say about the old generation. Like, niggas ain't on this type of time anymore. You do got to adjust to the... A lot of these niggas ain't on that time anymore. Y'all, some of y'all do gotta adjust to the times. Like, as times grow, like, some niggas don't care. It's like the OG young nigga situation. Some niggas don't give a fuck about some of this shit. It is what it is. But anyways. That doesn't take away his pen. That doesn't take away his catalog. It doesn't take away his consistency. But when it comes to that battle, when it came to seeing who was number one during that time, he bowed out, and that was his personal decision. My only thing with that is, I mostly think Kendrick was going at Drake. I think Kendrick kind of fuck with Cole. Like, they cool. That's my only thing with that. Because, again, Cole jumped in, which, yes, I agree. But I do think it was mostly a Kendrick and Drake situation. And then also, I don't know how that would work, because as you've seen, again, because J. Cole bowed out, so we don't necessarily know, but how it became like a 7-week run and all these other niggas came in and dissed that Drake, I don't know how the fuck that would work. Anyways, J. Cole might have opted out of one of the most viral rap feuds of recent years, but he has been hard at work on his own music. Currently, for example, he's gearing up to drop his long-awaited 7th studio album. The Fall Off is slated for release on February 6th. To give listeners a taste of what's to come, he released the first single from the project last week, this 2-track 2. The song arrived alongside a cinematic accompanying music video and has fans eager to hear what else he has up his sleeve. Again, bro, I don't like how that shit played out. We could critique Cole for how that shit played out. I can't take away the catalog. Like Envy said, the catalog, the music, all that shit is there. If you have J. Cole in your top, just off of overall career, you have that nigga in like your top 10, top 20, I'm not mad. I understand. Because at this point, we just talk about music. Yes, the battle. I want to have that nigga in the top 5 maybe, but again, if you have him there, I understand. If you just concern yourself with the catalogs, if that's what we talking about, fair enough. Again, I do feel like this is fair though. Again, if we're just talking about music, like catalog alone, yes, all them 3 niggas is the big 3 regardless. But yeah, that moment wasn't the best. And I do agree with Charlamagne and Envy's take. Now, other people sometimes they doing a little too much, because I'm not gonna let the battle, because academics be saying it on his live streams. I'm not gonna let that battle, basically, what's a word I could use? But skew my, I guess, opinion of his work, because the battle has nothing to do with his album. He's putting out this body of music. I'm not gonna let that battle skew it. Now, probably gonna talk about the battle on that album, and that's when I'm gonna get a little bit mad. But like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let that overall skew his album. If his album is good, I'm gonna come out and say that shit is good. I'm not gonna let that interfere with me being fair. But like, we'll see, because I do feel like some people just wrote him off in general, which again, if he's not in your top, that's your opinion. But if we just talk about bodies of work, I can't sit here and just let that happen. Because if that's the case, when Drake drops Iceman, what we're supposed to say is trash because he lost? Like, so again, we'll see where this goes. But besides all that, what do y'all think? Y'all already know what it is. It's your friendly neighborhood K.A. signing off for today. The Black TJ Ditweiler doing this thing. My name ring bells like Quasimodo. Hit like, subscribe. Try to hit a little bit more. You hear me? And I'm gone. Shalom, Zoom, peace, y'all. Gang. Aye.